During tonight's broadcast, WWE said they acquired footage of LA Knight and AJ Styles getting into a scuffle on the property of the phenomenal AJ Styles, and they don't want none. They don't want none. And apparently, you don't want to bother locking up your goddamn windows on your SUV. LA Knight said, I'm going to get you, AJ Styles, but it's the last thing I do. Yeah. And I'm going to honk, 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 honk. Or he broke the window, a la Goldberg, without severing a couple veins in his arm, because Goldberg is a smart individual, except he's not. Goldberg had nothing to do with this particular segment. Thankfully, fucking hell, it probably would have taken about 15 takes to get right, but LA Knight and AJ Styles got in a scuffle, they're fighting on the lawn, and then, Wendy called the police, or somebody did, possibly AJ Styles and Wendy's dog, I don't goddamn know, but the cops showed up, and they arrested LA Knight, yeah, and AJ Styles is gonna press charges, possibly, but the main thing that prevented him from wanting to charge LA Knight with any crime is the fact that the news reporters threw him off by saying, AJ Styles, how do you feel about your standing within the gated communities? And of course, he happened to say, the gated communities. I'm John Renton with my review, WWE Smackdown from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 18,000 seat capacity, around 11,000 or so people, and they were jam-packed, so goddamn jelly, as the kids say. I don't think the kids say that. Not jelly like in Japan. I think that means that it's frozen. Nevertheless, enough about Japanese food cuisine, as opposed to other types of cuisine. We are on the trail to WrestleMania. They are steamrolling towards WrestleMania, by which I mean they are going almost at a glacial pace with some of these things. There were a couple neat little things with the women. The closing segment served its purpose despite taking way longer than it needed to. And look, the SmackDown after WrestleMania is going to be the last weekly SmackDown I do, unless they really juice things up. I'll occasionally do a SmackDown review if it's something big. But I'm sorry, these shows have just kind of worn on me. So, here's Ray, and then we immediately go to a video package highlighting what happened between him and Santos and LWO Wolfpack and LWO Hollywood. Now, Ray and Santos had a match, and Ray was a little more deliberate. They were either implying that he had ring rust and he was making mistakes or something. I don't really know. I hope Ray's all right. And there was a dive outside to a pop. Well-paced, I will say that much. And then there was a meated senton over the timekeeper's area. And then later, Dominic, well, we didn't know it was Dominic, except we absolutely knew it was fucking Dominic, you could tell. He showed up and pulled Ray. He hit the ropes, hit the apron, the hardest part of the goddamn ring. And oh my god, he's upset. And then, Santos managed to hit the Phantom Driver 1, 2, 3. And yeah, some people may say that Dominic being involved in this, oh god damn it, they're going back to the well one too many times. Look, I'm no fan of Dominic. I've made that clear. But if he's going to align himself with the LWO, whatever faction, Wolfpack or Hollywood, and Ray's going to have his contingent, we're going to get everybody involved, and it's going to make sense. They'll probably have the women involved. Elektra and Zelina on a WrestleMania stage would certainly be a choice. It'll probably be a melee. They probably might just want to make it a street fight. But that being said, at least it made sense. And then Bayley and Dakota recaps, and Naomi was trying to play peacekeeper between Bayley and Bianca. And Bianca and Naomi are arguing while Cody is signing pictures. Naomi's trying to play peacekeeper still. And Theory and Waller took on Gallows and Anderson. Apparently Gallows and Anderson had been on NXT television, which explains why I forgot they were in the company. And a roll-up was the reason that the heels won this, I guess. So, yeah, Waller and Theory advance in this tournament that means absolutely nothing. Package on Steiner with stats. Steiner math. Take his, 66 and 2/3% chance. So, Roman was on Pat's show to acknowledge McAfee. And acknowledge McAfee needs to stop having Aaron Rodgers and other crackpots on his show. Io then suddenly was violently fisting Bayley from behind, backstage. And from behind and the front in every orifice that Bayley has. While Damage Control dances, I was not complaining one goddamn bit during this, even though it probably made no sense from a booking standpoint, but you won't get me complaining. Io and Naomi had the best match on the goddamn show. Good pace. Naomi may have hurt her knee. I couldn't decide if it was her gear bothering her or if she really did hurt, because she was pulling her gear up at some points. I thought she really hurt her knee. Thankfully, she seemed all right. Hit a nice superplex to a pop, floated over, 1, 2, kick out. good pace here, distractions, and then a moonsault, 1, 2, 3. And then Naomi gets beaten down, she gets misted, and then Bianca finally decides to show up. Instead of showing up before Naomi was incapacitated, I'm going to take them 5-on-1. And then Kyrie gets folded up. And Kyrie has not really meant much of anything since she's come back, to be perfectly honest. But it is what it is. And basically the idea is we're going to have probably Jade teaming up with them against Damage Control. I would be very surprised if they didn't. Tiffany then was mocking the fact that Naomi couldn't see. Bianca had a bottle of water and Toodles and all that. Orton and Owens apparently are going to take on Pretty Deadly next week. Yeah, Pretty Deadly started talking, and I just wish that my phone I wish my phone had a mute button. I wish my remote had a mute button that just would not unmute, because I can't stand Pretty Deadly. I'm sorry, I can't. There are people that like them. I can't stand them. Suddenly, LA Knight was at AJ Styles' house. Then the cops show up. Then they cuff LA Knight. Apparently it is cuffing season. I do not know if that's how that works. And, yeah, this was dumb. This was really dumb. I mean, I don't mind them trying to juice up the feud, but it's still stupid because it was stagey and fake and ridiculous. And I've seen episodes of Cops that were more realistic. And then from a crime or a couple crimes being committed right to the Street Profits theme, you ain't slick, WWE. You ain't slick. So then the Profits took on AOP. It's more like AO Cheeks. They fucking suck. They are terrible. The Assers of Pain, basically. That sounds like something totally different. A roll-up wins it. 2 tag team matches ending by a roll-up. So, apparently The Rock will be in Brooklyn on April 1st. Next week, Bianca and Dakota. And more tag stuff. I am skipping Owens and Orton against Pretty Deadly, so that's just your warning right there. Until Pretty Deadly actually wants to be a legit tag team and not look like goofs and not look like idiots, I'm not going to bother. Reigns makes his entrance. It's time to acknowledge me. Cody makes his entrance, and Cody gets a big pop. They were singing along to his theme. This was a lot of throbbing adulation. The Shield mentioned. We get it. The fucking Shield. This group that was together for about a year and a half, and yes, ran roughshod for a bit. Also a little overrated. I'm sorry, they were. Then, how Rollins betrayed Roman, he may betray Cody, and then... Hey, you mentioned the Shield. Who beat the Shield? Oh, right, we did for the tag titles. The team ended in Rhodes. It was at Battleground, I believe. That pay-per-view that I'm sure everybody in the company wants to forget happened. Roman then mocks Cody for his support of the fans, but also for the fact he can't deliver on his promises. And nobody here was at ringside, by the way, besides Heyman. And we were going to get a possible handshake. Nope. We didn't get a handshake. I did kind of laugh at how this redhead said, you need a group of strangers to acknowledge you, big guy. Get that redheaded lady a beer. Even though I think she already had one. That was funny. That was funny. So, Solo and Jim Uso show up, and then Jay and Seth show up. So, yeah, that's your Smackdown right there. It wasn't even a bad show. There's just not much to go into. I mean, Cody and Roman had some good lines, but it took forever to get to it. So yeah, next week's show I will be reviewing. I will likely review the one before the Hall of Fame. I don't know. Weekly WWE programming has a few good things, and then a lot of stuff that just bores me. So agree, disagree what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.